And we are following breaking news right now. New information this morning after the tragic killing of a young woman just hiking in the valley. We now know the name of the suspect, 22-year-old Zion William Teasley, who's been arrested. Initial reports said that he was 23, but we're now told he is 22. And this video here shows the moment where he was arrested in connection to the death of 29-year-old Lauren Heike. Multiple people, police sources, I should say, telling Arizona and his family the suspect was linked through DNA.
This is a case that has moved very quickly. Those sources have told us that the suspect stabbed Lauren multiple times. So Whitney has been outside of the Phoenix PD headquarters throughout the morning. She's joining us live with more on this. I mean, quick information coming out of the police department.
Certainly, just within the last 30 minutes, we got this updated information from police. They have identified the man they arrested in connection to the death of Lauren. And in these moments, you can't help but think of her family and her parents who are missing their daughter and their loved one this morning. But I am looking at this release from Phoenix PD right now. They have identified the person they arrested in connection to this case as 22-year-old Zion William Teasley. He was booked into jail for first-degree murder. Now, what you were seeing on your screen, I believe, is his mugshot that we are just getting into the newsroom within the last few minutes. We're seeing this information with a lot of you this morning. Again, this is the person who police say was arrested in connection to the death of 29-year-old Lauren Heike. Again, this is just such a tragic case. This is a bit of a sigh of relief for the community as the investigators have made some progress in this investigation. So they were hard at work while you were sleeping, serving a search warrant at the suspect's apartment, sifting through evidence. Now, his arrest happened around 6:30 last night in an apartment complex where police do say he lives. There were a number of people who live there that sent us this video watching this investigation unfold in real time. Now, this complex is less than a mile from that trail where Lauren's body was found. In the days following her death, her parents or family spoke publicly about their daughter, pleading for help and answers, saying as hard as this is for them, they're just really grateful they had such a beautiful child. Last night.
With this man taken into custody, I can tell you that he is the same person that was shown on the video clip that we shared with you all a few days ago. With this information, we hope that the community tonight can rest a little easier knowing that this person's off the streets.
So since that briefing last night, again, police have identified the person that they arrested as 22-year-old Zion William Teasley. One of the big questions remains, though, this morning, whether or not this was a random attack or if the victim and the suspect knew each other. That is certainly one of the things that we will be following up with today. Olivia and Colton, a lot unfolding just within the last 30 minutes. We had the name of the person who was arrested and also his mugshot. So something we will be following up on, and this entire time thinking about, Lauren, of course, and her loved ones who are missing their daughter.
Yeah, quick police work.
So, thinking of them for sure, and for now, I'll send it back to you guys.
All right, Whitney, thank you very much for that update. Time now is... But first, we begin with some breaking news this morning. Phoenix police investigating a homicide.
Yeah, it's happening right now in the area of 27th Avenue in Missouri. So let's send things out to Gibby, who's at the scene, has been gathering details so far for us this morning. Gib, what can you tell us?
Yeah, good morning, guys. This is right next to homes, also businesses, but right behind here, you can see crime scene investigators have just arrived here on the scene as they continue to gather information out here. As you mentioned, they found a man dead here right next to a business here, 27th Avenue and Missouri. According to the Phoenix Police Department, they got the call around 3 o'clock this morning. They say when they arrived here on scene, they found a man who had been shot. Unfortunately, that man was pronounced dead here on scene. Since then, investigators have been out here. They have the command van out here as well as detectives pretty much going around this whole area. There's also a white car that they've been investigating around here in this neighborhood as well, kind of going in and out of that home, just trying to gather information as to what may have led up to the shooting. They also tell us that there is no suspect information right now, that suspect is still outstanding. They urge you to please give the Phoenix Police Department a call if you have any information leading up to this shooting. As I mentioned, you saw the the businesses there, but right next to the businesses, I want to say probably about 50 feet, you can see it then goes into homes into this neighborhood. They had it blocked off all morning long, and it looks like they are going to be here for quite some time still. I would say a few hours before they even clear the scene.
All right, Gibby, thank you very much for that coverage, and we'll continue to check in with you as soon as we're trying to learn more information, right? Is there a threat to the public right now?
Absolutely. We're following another breaking news situation this morning. Phoenix police investigating another homicide. This one here is at 19th Avenue in Northern. Our drone is over the scene there where you can see investigators doing their job. Officers were called out for a welfare check just before 5:30 this morning, and that's when they say they found a man had been shot. He died at the scene. At this point, police are still searching for the suspect in this case. Once we find out more information about this, we'll be sure to let you know.
Welcome back. Let's get you caught up on some breaking news unfolding near 14th Street and McDowell.
We are told 2 people were taken to the hospital, including a Phoenix police officer. Emma Lockhart just arrived on scene. What have you learned, Emma?
Well, details are really limited right now, but I will tell you that this scene is very active and very extensive. I'll step out of the way so you can get a better look at what we are seeing here on the ground. Now, McDowell Road is blocked off from 12th Street to 16th Street. If we could pull up chopper video, that gives you another perspective of just how extensive this crime scene is. Now, dozens of police SUVs and police officers, detectives here on scene investigating and combing through the neighborhoods here. Now, on the other side of where we are standing, on the other side of McDowell, we have another crew, and they are seeing a squad car rammed into a fence. They also spoke with witnesses who say they heard gunshots go off. Again, we're working to find out what exactly happened here, what led up to this shooting. But again, we know that the suspect was injured. He is in the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries, and again, an officer was injured, but they only have minor injuries. They are in the hospital. They are expected to be okay. So again, details are limited, but definitely want to avoid this area as detectives are investigating. And of course, we are working to learn more about what led up to that police shooting. As soon as we learn more, we will update you. Guys.
Breaking news we're covering tonight near 14th Street and McDowell in Phoenix. All this started at 8 o'clock this evening with officers responding to a call about possible domestic violence. They say they got on scene and approached the suspect. They say that man pointed a gun at them, so at least one officer opened fire, hitting the suspect. Another officer hit that man with his car at the same time. That officer was taken to the hospital with some minor injuries. The man who was shot is also in the hospital tonight. That person is expected to survive. So that's what we know from that breaking news scene tonight in Phoenix. We'll have more information overnight. As soon as we get new information, we'll update the post on azfamily.com.
Arizona first, we begin with some breaking news out of Kentucky. Police reporting multiple casualties near downtown Louisville. Last we heard, at least 5 people were dead.
Yeah, this is all unfolding at a bank there. So Colton is staying on top of the developments from the newsroom this morning. Good morning, Colton. What can you share with us?
Yeah, good morning, Scott and Tess. So we are monitoring the situation out of Louisville, where officials say that 5 people have been killed in a mass shooting at a bank. We're told that 6 others were transported to the University Hospital, including an officer who was shot. So let's take you to the scene right now, where you can see overhead there are so many people just outside of this bank. This is near downtown, near Louisville Slugger Stadium, where you can see the investigation is unfolding and just how extensive this scene is. Officials say that the shooter is also dead. They say the active shooter situation unfolded this morning around 9:30 local time. And as soon as word of the mass shooting broke out, several officials sent out alerts and warnings telling people to stay away from the area. At this point, a lot of details are still being gathered. We are waiting for an update from officials. They did give their last update about half an hour ago and said that they would give one in about another half hour. At this point, we don't know much about the victims or the suspects, but we do know that the Kentucky governor, Andy Beshear, said that he was headed to the scene this morning, tweeting out, please pray for all of the families impacted and for the city of Louisville. Officials say they will have an update in about half an hour. Of course, we are monitoring the situation. It looks like they're going to speak right now. Let's see if we can take this.
At 8:30 this morning, approximately 8:30 this morning, Louisville Metro Safe received a report of shots fired, a possible active shooter, at 333 East Main Street at the Old National Bank. Within 3 minutes of being dispatched, officers arrived on scene and encountered the suspect gunshots. Officers exchanged gunshots with that suspect, and ultimately that suspect did die at the scene. We're trying to confirm if that suspect died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound or was killed by officers at this time. At least 2 officers were shot during this exchange of gunfire. One is currently in surgery at University of Louisville Hospital. At least 4 more victims were confirmed to be deceased inside the location, as well as 8 that are now currently being treated at University Hospital. 2 are critical, one of those being the officer. We're currently working to identify all of the victims, work with their families for reunification, and provide services to the families and the victims. The investigation, I want to reiterate, is ongoing. This will be a long scene. It will take pretty much into the night. So I'll still ask that the public avoid the area. I want to reiterate that there is no active threat. We believe this is a lone gunman involved in this that did have a connection to the bank. We're trying to establish what that connection was to the business, but it appears he was a previous employee. It is clear from the officer's response that they absolutely saved people's lives. This is a tragic event. But it was the heroic response of officers that made sure that no more people were more seriously injured than what happened. We will continue to provide updates as soon as possible. We will have another press briefing following this at 3 p.m. today. I will turn it over to Mayor Craig Greenberg at this time.
All right, looks like they are giving an update, and we have more information for you. So apparently, shots rang around 8:30 a.m. local time, and officers responded very quickly within 3 minutes. Officials updating numbers for us, saying that 4 people were killed inside, and that 8 others were transported to the University Hospital, including 2 officers, one of them currently in surgery. They did say that the suspected shooter is dead. At this point, they don't know if it was a self-inflicted gunshot wound or if it was between exchange gunfire between the suspect and officers. They do also say that the shooter was a former employee of the bank where this shooting had happened. Again, they say there was no active threats. And at this time, they're going to have another update several hours from now, but you can see they have a lot to comb through.
Yes.
We'll definitely be on top of this. And, you know, I was reading some of the stories from our affiliates, Scott and Tess, and one of the people who they spoke with said his wife was actually inside the bank in the vaults, calling her husband, saying that this was happening, to call the police. He did, but at that point, the police were already on the way. Again, that quick response, the officials are saying that within 3 minutes, they got there and potentially saved even more lives.
Absolutely, getting there within 3 minutes, definitely making
and
that
to hear
difference.
that officer's in critical condition, we hope that he survives for sure.
Absolutely.
So, all right, Colton,
Thank you,
thanks for the
Colton.
details.
Good morning, Arizona. It is just about 8 o'clock, and we begin this hour with some breaking news. A deadly crash has shut down a portion of a major freeway.
Oh, and as you can imagine, it's causing a lot of backup this morning because a lot of people travel through that area. So Gibby's live in Tempe right off the Loop 202 near Scottsdale Road. That's just a mess out there, isn't it, Gibby?
It is, Scott, and as you can see over my shoulder here, that is the McClintock exit where they're forcing everyone to get off here eastbound on the 202, and here's the reason why. Let's take a look at our Arizona Family drone, which is going to show you that that SUV is already on a wrecker. They're having a problem with that commercial truck. That truck is having a problem with the front tire that they could not get it onto the wrecker, so now they're saying possibly 8:30 or 9 o'clock this morning. Here's what we know. 1 man is dead and a driver taken into custody after a deadly crash here along the 202. According to DPS, this all happened around 3 o'clock this morning when a commercial truck was trying to re-enter the 202. It was then rear-ended by an SUV that was driving eastbound. A trooper who was here assisting in this construction zone was close to the crash He says that when he pulled up here on scene, they found the driver of that SUV deceased inside. Now, shortly after talking to the driver here, DPS would handcuff him and take him into custody on suspicion of impairment. The eastbound 202 Red Mountain remains closed here at that McClintock exit, Gina, as they continue to investigate. And as I mentioned earlier, what they're trying to do is hopefully trying to find a way to get that commercial truck out of the way. Because of that problem with that front tire, because of how heavy that tire is, they're trying to find alternatives. Once they're able to do that, then they could get it opened up. So the latest we've heard now, this was just moments ago, 8:30, 9 o'clock. But as you know, you can see they've already cleaned up that SUV. That's on the record. They got to clean up some of the other debris that's out here. The whole holdup now is that commercial truck and getting that out of here.
Well, that's good information, Gibby. Thank you so much, my friend. So let's continue the team coverage, since as we're heading through almost the end of rush hour, the freeway is still shut down. Just a little different perspective here. Live look from the ADOT camera at the 202 in McClintock, and you can see nobody's traveling here. Here is where all of the traffic is being forced off the freeway, and then even further back, look at the back if you don't want to get caught up in this. So let's zoom you into North Tempe. Want to stress to you, it is the eastbound side of the 202 that is closed at McClintock. Our morning rush hour flows on the westbound side, and you can see we do have a curiosity factor leading up to the accident scene. Slowly extends back to about Dobson, almost back to Alma School. So if you normally head eastbound, you're used to cruising on the 202. For a local roadway, because of the Papagos, you got to move all the way up to McDowell or to the south, Rio Salado University. All those roadways will get you to the Loop 101. But if you need to get into the East Valley, I really think your best bet is to drop down to the US 60.
8:30 on your Wednesday morning. We want to get back to some breaking news. We showed you just a little while ago. Crews on the scene of a house fire.
The damage is extensive. Gibby is live near 24th Street in Southern now. With more, Gibby.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Phoenix Fire did a good job of getting this fire out here and just leaving the extension to the outside of the home and pretty much leaving it on the patio. And what we saw from the new Arizona's Family News chopper showing the back part of the home. Here's some news that we found out when we got out here. There was an actual a neighbor who lived right across the street. He saw that this was happening. He saw what was going on. He saw folks were videotaping the fire, but he noticed that there were two girls that were still inside, a 12 and a 7-year-old. So that's when he tried to get them out of the home, but he was unable to do so. Luckily, there was a retired firefighter who worked for the state, turned around and saw the smoke. He came into this neighborhood. He was then able to turn around and get that window open, and he was able to get the girls out of the home safely. The good news here, they were not injured. Firefighters were here shortly after. They were able to put that out. We caught up with that retired firefighter, and here's what he had to say.
So went in there, grabbed the kids, 2 daughters, pulled them out. They wanted a little puppy, grabbed the puppy, and yeah, brought them out to the street.
So there you go. He and the neighbor turned around and helped as much as they could. As soon as the Phoenix firefighters got here, they were able to put this fire out, and everybody got out safely. Now there were confirmed reports of explosions out here. They had some propane tanks that were off to the side. That was something they had to deal with as well. Was the propane that was there's some propane clans that were blown up on the side of this home. Luckily, that didn't hit anybody, and no one was hurt because of that. So as you can see, there's still an active scene out here. Fire crews are still going around the perimeter of the home to make sure that the fire is completely out. And all this to have a firefighter nearby and to stop and able to help out. Also, the neighbor who lives right across the way here to also make the initiative to turn around and just try to get them out. He knew the girls because he takes them to school every morning. So all in all, just some great help from everybody involved.
Oh, no doubt about that, for sure. All right, give me